Hello guys, welcome to the Computer Guys videos, and in today's video we are not going to be doing any tutorial but we are going to be doing our first theory-based lecture. And what we are going to be talking about today is what is virtual machine. Very interesting topic, and I always want to learn about this more and more detail because virtualization is becoming very popular and very demanding these days. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue further. So a little bit about what virtual machines are. Virtual machines, as I said in my first video, are software computer like physical computer or server. They can perform uh, all the functions, all the features. Let's say if you install a Windows Server 2012 as a virtual machine, you can do Active Directory, you can do group policy, you can have Exchange server, you can have your IS server, file server, almost everything. So it is not that virtual machines that you have a virtual machine and you cannot do this, and let's say, okay, you can do almost that, and that is one of the benefits of virtual machines. Virtual machine can run as an application, and this means that you install a software or an application, and then on that application you create virtual machines, and then and that on that virtual machine you install your operating system, and then you perform your functions. Okay, so let's look at that or in more detail. So here we can see I have Oracle VM VirtualBox here, and so I downloaded that from internet, and then I installed it, and on that I create virtual machines. Okay, another thing is that we can you can have a dedicated operating system. This is what I call, and what I mean by this is that you can buy um, a product, let's say VMware ESXi. I'll be explaining what VMware ESXi is, and then you can install uh, that software or as an operating system. So you won't have when you are doing this, let's say VMware ESXi, you would not have any Linux or Windows installed. Okay, so you will be installing that as an operating system, and then on that operating system you will be creating virtual machines. Okay, I'll explain this in more details in the next slides. Okay, there are many free virtual machine applications available. One of very popular is VirtualBox. Okay, so here the example of this VMware is ESXi here. So um, here you have let's say here here you have your hardware, and then we have a virtualization here, and then you divide uh, your hardware, your operating system, and in logical uh, gaps or spaces, and then you create virtual machines. Okay, so another benefit of this is that you can divide your hardware, you can divide your operating system. Okay, logically. Why use virtual machine? This is one of the first questions that came into my mind when I was first learning about virtual machines. Because they have many benefits. I'll be explaining more benefits in next video. I mean, in next slide. One of the benefits, as I said, is that you can divide your hardware in logical spaces, and another is that um, they are software like computer. They're easy to implement. An example of this is, let's say you're doing testing. You buy a new product, and before you install it on your server, you want to make sure, before you get install implement it on your users' computers, you want to make sure that it doesn't have any bug, it doesn't crash the system. So you check it on a virtual machine, and for a few days or maybe few weeks You perform some actions and you make sure that it doesn't uh, break down your system or it doesn't make your system slow. So for that you can use a software like computer virtual machine, and there is implement, because let's say if you're doing for testing purpose, you don't have to buy one. You can just use virtual box, create a virtual machine, and then install your product and then test it. Very easy. uh, the other one is that okay, again, you don't have to pay for the application. And as I say, it depends, because let's say if you're in a big organization and you are not using for testing purposes, you are using to have an actual, let's say, file server, and you want to make sure that you have backups, you have clusters, you have disaster recovery system, you have fault tolerance and everything. You should, I would say, I would recommend that you have something like VMware ESXi, because you can have VMware vCenter server, and I'll be explaining that what vCenter server is in further videos. But what VMware vCenter does is it provides many benefits. You can cluster, you can have backups, you can have disaster recovery system, you can have fault tolerance. Okay. Again, why you don't have to pay? Because for small purposes, you can just download free application, and then you can perform your actions. Mobility, you can have, let's say, you can install uh, VirtualBox or any other free application for virtual machines on an external hard drive. This is what we were doing in last semester. Uh, we were installing virtual machines. We installed VirtualBox on an external hard drive, and then I carried it with me when I was home. I was able to work, complete my assignment at home, and when I needed to go to college, I could take it right there. I wasn't dependent that it was installed on a particular physical machine, and I couldn't do it because I wasn't physically there. That's a very big advantage. Again, benefits of using virtualization. It helps, again, it helps with testing new application and update. Again, we know that most of the times, not most of the time, but it happens, updates can cause some problems. Okay, so before you download updates on your important servers, let's say on your file server or on your web server, you can check you can install update on your test server, on your test virtual machine, and then you can perform few actions and make sure that everything works correctly. You can test new application, and then if everything works perfectly without any problem, you can then install it on the actual machine. Okay. Again, improve disaster recovery, because you can clone it. You can have it up. You can use backup. Again, backup comes in vCenter server, ESXi. Save money and electricity. Why does it save money? It saves money because to create virtual machine, you don't really have to buy. If you're using it for small purposes, let's say for testing and other purposes, for school purposes, for college, for your education, to be more precise, you don't have to buy. You can just download from internet for free. And electricity would be because you don't have to you don't have to really install it on a physical machine. You can just use it on a laptop. Okay, it's not that to perform to do it on Windows Server 2000. To do Windows Server 2008, you have to install on a very powerful server. Scalability, again, because if you, let's say you're using ESXi, and you know that in, let's say, 5 months from now you will have 1,000 customers coming in, and you will need accounts for 1,000 customers, and you need backup for that. You need Active Directory replication, let's say, if you're using Active Directory for that. So you can create more virtual machines. how do we know? Another very good question: how do we know if we need virtualization? If you're a big organization, you definitely need virtualization. Why? Because you want to save money. That's the biggest, or I should say, the the best uh, goal of every organization. If you, even if you're small, or you're big, as big as, let's say, Google or Microsoft, you want to save money. And using virtualization, you don't, let's say, if you want 10 web servers, you don't have to buy 10 physical let's say rack servers. You can just buy one very powerful, and then you can have virtualization implemented over there. Rapid growing, again, that's the same thing. Cost is an issue, again, same thing. Updates or new application. If you use download updates, or you buy new applications in a very small amount of period, then you obviously need testing. That's one of the strategies that we use in real industry. Or if I cannot remember the correct term that we use. Uh, I cannot remember that right now. Okay, again, which applications to use? It depends on what you want to do with your VMs. Okay, so let's say if you just want example for college or for education, you don't have to buy ESXi. You don't want to waste that would be waste of money, because you can just download a VM Oracle VirtualBox or another one that you know. Again, depends on how big your organization is. If your organization is very big, then you have a lot of clients, then you have a lot of employees, and you have a lot of web servers, you have a lot of file servers, you have a lot of Active Directory, you have a lot of Linux, and many other things. And for that, you should have virtualization to save money, to save time, to save space. That's one of the benefits too. Which server will you will create VMs? Again, it depends on which server you will be creating VMs on. Okay. Again, operating system. Are you going to be using an application like VirtualBox, or you will be using uh, you want your VMs to be more powerful? Let's say you want backups of your VMs. You want your VMs to perform better, so you can cluster them. You can cluster your servers and provide more flexibility and fault tolerance. That's an example. That's a picture or image of what VMware ESXi window look like. Okay, so after you install it, this is what it looks like. This is not installed as an application. It is installed as an operating system. Okay, so you can you can configure password, you can configure networking, even have CLI. I cannot remember right now how you would do it, because I haven't done CLI for a while now. But you can have CLI. You can SSH from from let's say from your laptop, and then you can perform action. So thank you very much for watching this video. I know this is not a very in-depth video about virtualization or VMs, but I'll be doing a more depth one in future, in later videos. Okay, so thank you very much for watching video. Please rate this video. um, Even if you don't like it, please leave a comment why you don't like it, so I can improve my way. Even if you are going to say something negative about my teaching, about the way I'm teaching, I won't get upset. I welcome it, because it will allow me to make myself better. Please subscribe to my channel to show your support, and stay tuned for further videos. Again, thank you very much.